In today's video, we're going to be restoring this Game Boy. Let's crack her open. Alright, let's see what's inside here. I bought this on eBay the other day for a pretty good price. It's a Game Boy Pocket with its original box, but it said that the Game Boy was untested and they didn't know if it worked or not. So let's crack her open and see what's inside here. The box is in really good shape, as you can see. Super clean. No like tears or dents or anything in it. Super nice. I think the Game Boy is inside of it, so let's open this up and see. Be really careful with it. Looks like it's got the original little insert here. This comes out like that. No manuals or anything. The Game Boy's pretty rough shape, but we're going to be refurbishing this and giving it nice cleaning. This looks pretty scratched up and maybe even cracked on the screen right there. At least the screen's not burnt, because that takes a while to fix. So yeah, let's get this restoration started, shall we? Alright, I got all my tools ready. Let's see if this thing even powers on. Let's put the batteries in. It looks kind of corroded on the inside, but we'll give it a shot here. Okay, it does work. First try, it lights up and that works. Let's see. Contrast works, and I heard the sound work. Try it again. It's this way. Hold on. This thing really needs a clean, even though that it works. But everything seems like it works. Let's try it with a game this time. I'm gonna get Tetris test. Let's pop this in here. See if it works. And it does, it reads the game. Let's see if the buttons work. It's booting up. Let's see. There it goes. Buttons. Buttons seem to be working. A button doesn't work, actually. B button works. That pad works. Start button works. Alright, so A button doesn't work. Alright, this thing needs a good clean, so let's take it apart and see what we can do with this. To take apart the Game Boy Pocket, there's 6 screws on the back, but you have to use a special tri-wing screwdriver bit to be able to turn them. So let's go ahead and do that. Should come out pretty easy. You want to make sure to keep your screws separate so you know which ones are which. A lot of these screws seem kind of rusty too, so we'll have to clean them up all nice and neat. Let's get this one. And then once you get those 4 screws, there's 2 on the inside here, as you can see right there. So let's go ahead and get those. Oh, there we go. All right. Now the back should just come off pretty easy. If you can see pretty up close there's a lot of corrosion, and that's going to take some work to fix up and get back to working in a good way, and it's not going to mess up in the future. It works now, but it might affect it in the future, so we got to clean that up. Let's continue to open this up, take the back off, nice and neat, and now we get a look into the inside. Very dirty. Very dirty. You can see around the wheel right here, it's super dirty. But it looks like there's no corrosion on the inside except on the little power terminals right there that connects to the batteries. So we should be good. Just clean those off and it'll work pretty good. All right, now there's three Phillips head screws that we got to take out. And then we have to take out the ribbon cable. It's pretty easy, and I'll show you how to do that next. Got our Phillips head screwdriver. Let's get these 3 screws off. There we go. Now to unattach the ribbon cable, what we have to do, we can take the little power button out too. Make sure you don't lose that. To do that, there's these little latches right here, these little white things. Just want to slide those out carefully. It might take a you have to go back and forth a little bit. And then the board, once you lift it out, you can pull the ribbon cable out. And that separates the screen from the board. Just like that. Super dirty on the inside of here. Man. So let's clean it up now. A little disclaimer, be very careful with the screen when taking it out. What I did was I kind of treated it like an ice tray, and you just kind of twist it like that. Just enough to get something under it. I used a guitar pick, and then you just pry it up and get it open. I think a little bit of the screen might have messed up a little bit right here, but not bad. So I don't think you'll even see that part of the screen, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, let's continue this time lapse. Clean the buttons in the shell. I'm gonna put them in some hot soapy water and rinse them off. Let's get this started. You like Gameboys, Lula? All right, now that the shell and the buttons and the membranes are all drying right now, after I finish cleaning them, it's time to clean the motherboard and to get these battery contacts and screws uncorroded. So let's do that now. So what I'm going to be doing for this is using some isopropyl alcohol and some Q-tips and just going over it, really trying to coat everything and make sure it's all good. Also, I might do some scraping to try and get rid of that stuff because it's kind of pesky sometimes. So we're going to do that now. I'm just going to give the board a nice little clean. Get everything nice and cleaned up. Trying a different camera angle here just to keep things fresh, and it just makes it easier for me to work. This board is super dirty. Just trying to give it a once over with some alcohol. Cleans everything up nice and neat. Get some more on there. Just clean, keep cleaning, give it a nice once over. Make sure everything's nice. You can drip some alcohol into the little spinners and then give them a few turns, and it cleans them up nice and good. I think the reason why the A button doesn't work is there's a little bit of corrosion on it, so we're going to clean that off too. It's a pretty easy fix, or it should be. Alright, give this side a nice little drip. Give it some turns. Try to get some more in there. Give it some turns. All right, that should be good. Let's get a new Q-tip. Let's go over this just once. All right, let's flip it over and give this side a clean. The speaker is really dirty. We're gonna need to give that a clean. This side of the board is way cleaner though than the other side. Thank goodness. Except for that little spot right here on the button. And someone's mowing outside, goodness. Sorry about that. All right, I'm gonna cut to a time lapse now, so this video won't be super long. All right, so I finished cleaning the motherboard, and the shell and buttons are done drying, so it's time to put everything back together. So what we're gonna do first is put all the buttons in here. After I take this old screen lens out and swap it with this slightly better condition one that I have. This one has some chips on the top and it's just not in great condition. This one it's used, but it's in better condition. So I'm just gonna pop this thing out. You have to be a little bit careful. This will also let me clean a little bit around it. You can hear it. It might be better to get like a hair dryer or something hot to get kind of loosen the adhesive around it that's holding it. But if you're just careful, you can just peel it off just like that. So now it's come off. Might do a little bit of cleaning. So I'm just gonna use this little toothbrush and just kind of clean up around there. Just like that. Pretty simple. There we go. So now it's nice and clean. We can stick this one on top of it. This one's a lot nicer. There we go. Nope, it had hair on it. There we go. Just gonna give that some, wipe the fingerprints off of it later. All right, so let's put the buttons all in. Let's see, how does that go? There it goes. The good thing about the Game Boy Pocket is it's pretty easy to work on. Hardest part is probably taking the screen out without damaging it super bad. I've done that before and just straight up cracked the screen. It's very easy to do that, unfortunately. So let's get this screen. I just wrapped it in some toilet paper to protect it. It kind of looks like I might have broken it just a little bit. Or maybe that was already there, I don't know. But you just want to get all the dust off of it before you put it back on, because you'll see it through the screen lens, and that's just annoying when you're trying to play a game and you got dust in it. All right. Let's put the power slider back on before we do all that. You always want to double check things before you put it all the way back together, because it's really frustrating to have to go back and put something on that you forgot to put on. So just take your time, go through things slowly. It's always good to take a little bit of time to do stuff. All right, let's screw this in. Where are those screws? There they are. These are those Phillips head screws. You gotta put back in. Make sure you don't screw up the holes, no pun intended. What you can do is you put the screw in and then you twist it to the left like you're loosening it until you hear like a little click noise, like that, and then you start screwing it down, because if you don't, it'll re-thread the hole, and you don't want to do that because it'll mess it up, mess up your screw hole. All right, got those in. Make sure they're not super tight, but tight enough to hold everything down. Now you're going to want to put your ribbon cable back in. Make sure it's all the way seated in there. And then clip those little clippers, those little tabs down, so that way it's locked in place. Now we need to set this aside and put the cartridge shield on. Just goes in there like that. Screwdriver, there it is. And then you put the 4 Phillips heads back in there. This just separates the cartridge from the motherboard. Prevents shorts. All right, 2 more screws. Game Boy Pocket is probably my favorite system to work on. I've worked on, this is my 3rd one so far. They're just really fun. I did a backlight mod one a few years ago, but it's since stopped working. And then I tried to bivert mod it, and it completely messed up. So we have this little battery contact that I tried to clean up, but it was just way too corroded and I can't do anything with it. So I'm actually going to be taking one from another system that I have, just a shell. I don't even have the motherboard for it anymore. I'm just going to take that out and use it for this build, or this refurb, just because it's way nicer. What you got to do is just kind of poke your screwdriver in there, then push down, try and slide it out. There we go. And you just take it out. I'm just gonna slide it into here. facing the right way. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. As you can see there, push it down until it clicks. Yep. Oh, nope, fell out. Well, come on now. It's wanting to fall out. Let's see. Need to bend it. There we go. Now we can put it in. Now it should click. There we go. So now it's in there. Just had to bend that metal that held it in there. So now we take this, put it back on there, and then put those. Actually, before we do that, let's turn it on and see if it works. Make sure we didn't screw anything up. Yep, still works. And the screen looks a lot nicer. So it looks like we didn't mess up the screen. After all, that was just like some off-screen damage off the little border. So yeah, let's take the batteries back out and put the screws back in. These screws are a little bit gross, but it's okay. Now we're using the tri-wing screwdriver. There we go. Oops, bump my camera. Don't want to get them in there too tight because you might break the plastic, so just be careful. Make sure the shell is all the way closed together. You don't want any gaps or anything while you're screwing it in. There we go. 2 more screws. Does that mean it would go down? Okay. Screw that down. There we go. Let's put some batteries in and try this puppy out again. The problem is with this is the case is kind of in bad condition. But everything else is pretty good. Everything else cleaned up nicely, and it plays games, so that's what counts. So yeah, awesome. Let's get a better look at this. So I bought this Game Boy because it was listed as untested, and it came with the original box in great condition. And most untested systems pretty much work. They just need a little bit of elbow grease to get back in decent shape and good working condition. But this one cleaned up very nice, and I really enjoy working on these Game Boy Pockets. If you'd like to see more Game Boy Pocket stuff or just more retro tech stuff, then like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching.